Hello and welcome. My name is Ryan Darrah. I am a teacher at Lyons Township High School in the Language Arts Department. And if you've clicked on this and are here with me right now in a virtual sense, you have a child who's in one of my junior honors AP language and composition courses, third and sixth period are the two periods I'm teaching that class this year. This is my 22nd year as a teacher, my 13th year at LT. 12 of those years at LT teaching this AP honors course. I taught junior honors for 5 years, excuse me, at my old school, TF South, in the south suburbs of Chicago as well. Real briefly here, I usually like to make parent open house night a little interactive, just as I believe for my students that their education is best served when it's interactive, when it asks them to get engaged and share their thoughts and opinions and interpretations. I like to do that with my parents as well and ask you to think of a word or two that you associate with education, that you would like your child to associate with education. It can be a synonym, it can be a word that's more associated and experientially linked to education in an ideal way. So if you could share that with me or have your child share that with me over our Canvas chat, that would be greatly appreciated. You can tell them it gets some extra credit. It doesn't, but they don't need to know that till later. So you can force them to do that and make them feel like, hey, I participated today, you better do the same. Briefly, a course overview, we have a kind of three-thread course, if you will, with our AP program. We, of course, prepare students to sit for the AP exam in May, and that is kind of a rhetoric-based course, which allows them and asks them to engage with a lot of nonfiction work and do a lot of rhetorical analysis of what's an author's purpose here. How did the rhetorical appeals, ethos, pathos, logos play in this speech or in this visual? But we also have the standard junior year American Lit thread, which I think is a very valuable thing and an important part of what we do at LT. Some schools have ceded their curriculum fully to the AP College Board approach, and they take American Lit sophomore year or something like that. But I like that we gel it with our junior year American History course, and we teach Beloved and The Things They Carried and The Great Gatsby and other canonical texts of American literature in that experience. And then I guess the kind of final component of it is that it is this composition course. As you can see, my other classes, I teach other junior sections that are composition courses. And those are the ones that, again, it's just a rhetoric class independent of the exam. And it's about, training them in a writing intensive course for the kind of critical thinking, critical reading, and then high-level writing that they'll need to succeed in college and beyond. So very, very briefly here, I want to kind of build on that course overview by giving you a little sample of the types of things we do day to day. This was a lesson from this week where I asked students to engage in some close reading by doubling back to a section within John Krakauer's Into the Wild, which is the first major text we study of the semester. It's a work of nonfiction. It is a biography, a work of investigative journalism, you could say. And it's one that students usually have some pretty strong reactions to and interest in. So we take a look at a brief section on page 22 where McCandless has his college room described by Krakauer as his college apartment as a monkish room, as neat and orderly as military barracks. And we really delve in with that language and we divide the class up. Half the class does some language research of monkish and some Google searches on monks and monk traditions and habits of mind and lifestyles and so forth. The other looks into maybe the etymology and history of the word barracks and the experience of living in a military barracks. And then we bring back those discussion points to think about, well, so what? That language research can yield what to us in terms of our interpretation of Chris as a character and as a person in history, and as Krakauer's portrayal of him. So the students did an awesome job with this in our discussion, and I use that then as a model for a piece of writing of the kind of language research, the kind of depthful thinking that we want to give them practice at and kind of condition them, train them to churn out themselves. You can't give 20 minutes to 3 words or 4 words every time you read a book. You'll never finish the book. But this is how you truly do that close reading skill of going back, having a deeper think about the implications of language and symbols and metaphors, and the students respond to this very well. So this is, like I say, one example of the literature we're going to be engaged with, and this is the type of close reading, but then we do a lot with research-based writing and synthesis of evidence and comparing, contrasting different types of sources along the way as well. A couple other closing things here to keep it brief. I can imagine watching all these videos is maybe more confusing than even our normal open house where people have to find their way around the building for the first time. If there's ever a question or a concern about an assignment or about students' work or falling behind or an illness or emergency in the family that necessitates some communication, please reach out over email. I will get back to you. We can set up a phone conference if you think that would work better, or we can trade some ideas over email. Either way would be fine. Please encourage your kids to use our chat function in Zoom to reach out to me over email. Be proactive and self-advocate when they're struggling. I really believe that sometimes a short 3 to 5 minute, maybe 10 minutes at the most, writing conference or reading conference can make a huge difference, not just on a grade, but in terms of the experience of the course and learning overall. So take advantage of our morning meeting times or a study hall time that they may have if I'm off that period. Or after school time, I'm willing to meet as well to make sure that people are feeling confident, feeling ready to do their best to learn in our class. So please do share those education words on our chat. This is the time where I'll be putting people on the spot and having you participate a little bit, but we will wrap it up there. I actually have a class starting in a few moments, so I'm going to get to that one as well. But nice to meet you in the virtual world. Again, if you have a question or concern or comment, you can send me an email. And thus far, I mean, the classes have been awesome. Our discussions have been really in-depth, as good as what we have in regular time. So that's been confidence building, exciting. That was my experience last spring with my class discussions. Kids did a great job, didn't miss a beat. These guys are doing the same. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to be together again in real live time in class sometime this year. But for right now, I've been very impressed, very appreciative of their hard work, of their intelligence, and of the discussions that we've been able to foster. So thanks for your time. Take care.